The language barrier. Maggie had always dreamed of traveling the world, but there was one problem: she wasn't fluent in any language other than English. When she finally saved up enough money for a trip to Italy, she was excited but nervous. She knew that communicating would be a challenge. As soon as she arrived in Rome, she realized just how difficult it would be. She couldn't understand the signs or menus, and when she tried to speak with locals, they often looked at her blankly or responded in rapid Italian that she couldn't decipher. Maggie was frustrated and considered cutting her trip short. But she reminded herself that she had always wanted to see Italy and decided to persevere. She signed up for a language course and practiced speaking with anyone who would listen. One day, while she was sitting in a cafe practicing her Italian, a woman sat down at her table. She introduced herself as Sophia and said that she noticed Maggie struggling with the language. Sophia was a native Italian speaker who also spoke English fluently, and she offered to help Maggie practice her Italian. Maggie was grateful and accepted Sophia's offer. They met regularly, and Maggie's Italian skills began to improve. She was able to order food at restaurants, ask for directions, and even have basic conversations with locals. Sophia and Maggie became close friends, and Sophia introduced Maggie to other locals who were also interested in language exchange. Maggie found that she was not only learning Italian but also about Italian culture and making new friends. By the end of her trip, Maggie was amazed at how far she had come. She still wasn't fluent, but she had made significant progress and was able to communicate more effectively. Most importantly, she had gained the courage to tackle a challenge head-on and the perseverance to see it through. As Maggie boarded her plane home, she knew that she would continue to study Italian and other languages. She had discovered that the language barrier was not a barrier at all but an opportunity to learn and connect with people from around the world. Lost in translation. Sarah was excited to move to a new country and start a new chapter in her life. She had always loved traveling and experiencing new cultures, so she was eager to embrace the challenges that came with moving to a foreign land. However, Sarah quickly discovered that communication was a major obstacle. She had taken a few language classes before moving, but she soon realized that they hadn't prepared her for the reality of living in a country where she didn't speak the language fluently. At first, Sarah tried to use online translation tools and simple phrases to get by, but she found that it was often frustrating and ineffective. She struggled to make friends and connect with people, and she felt isolated and alone. But Sarah refused to give up. She was determined to learn the language and integrate into the culture. She enrolled in a language school and practiced every day. She also made an effort to meet locals and immerse herself in the culture, even if it was challenging at times. Slowly but surely, Sarah's language skills improved. She was able to have conversations and express herself more effectively. She made friends and started to feel like she belonged in her new home. One day, Sarah was walking down the street when she saw a woman who looked lost and confused. The woman was clearly a tourist and didn't speak the local language. Sarah approached her and asked if she needed help. To Sarah's surprise, the woman spoke English, and the two of them were able to communicate easily. As they walked and talked, Sarah realized that she had come a long way since she first arrived in the country. She had gone from feeling lost in translation to being able to help someone else navigate a foreign language and culture. She felt proud of herself and grateful for the experiences that had led her to this moment. Sarah continued to study the language and immerse herself in the culture. She knew that there would still be challenges, but she was confident that she could overcome them. She had discovered the power of persistence and the courage to pursue her passion for travel and adventure. The trip of a lifetime. Anna had always been fascinated by other cultures and longed to travel the world. But as a recent college graduate with student loans to pay off, she didn't have the funds to make her dream come true. One day, Anna's luck changed when she won an all-expenses-paid trip to Japan in a raffle. She couldn't believe her luck and felt grateful for the opportunity to finally experience a new culture. Anna was excited but also nervous. She had never been to Japan before, and she didn't know anyone there. She was also aware that she didn't speak Japanese fluently, which could make communication difficult. When Anna arrived in Japan, she was immediately struck by the beauty of the country. She marveled at the cherry blossoms in bloom and the towering skyscrapers in Tokyo. But she also realized that navigating the city on her own would be a challenge. Anna decided to take a language class to improve her Japanese skills. She also joined a local meetup group for travelers and was surprised at how friendly and welcoming the other members were. They showed her around the city, introduced her to local cuisine, and shared their own travel stories. One day, Anna went to a temple in Kyoto and met a Japanese woman who was praying. Anna couldn't speak Japanese fluently, but she knew a few basic phrases, and she tried to strike up a conversation with the woman. The woman smiled and responded in broken English, and the two of them chatted for a few minutes. Despite the language barrier, Anna and the woman felt a connection. They exchanged contact information and promised to keep in touch. As Anna's trip came to an end, she felt sad to leave Japan but grateful for the experiences she had. She had gone from feeling lost in translation to feeling connected to a new culture and making friends along the way. When Anna returned home, she realized that the trip had been about more than just seeing a new country. It had been about overcoming obstacles, building connections, and discovering the joy of giving and receiving kindness. The trip of a lifetime had transformed her in ways she never could have imagined. The Unconventional Teacher. It was the first day of school, and Emily was nervous. She was starting her first day of high school in a new town, and she didn't know anyone. As she walked into her homeroom, she saw that her teacher was unlike any she had ever seen before. Ms. Johnson was dressed in a brightly colored outfit, and her hair was styled in a wild, curly manner. She had an infectious smile, and her energy seemed to radiate throughout the room. Emily was intrigued. As the class began, Ms. Johnson introduced herself and began teaching the first lesson. Emily was surprised by how engaging and interesting Ms. Johnson made the material. She used games, stories, and music to help the students learn, and she made the class feel like a fun adventure. Over the next few weeks, Emily realized that Ms. Johnson was not a conventional teacher. She didn't follow the strict rules and regulations that Emily had become accustomed to. Instead, she taught in a way that was creative, passionate, and unconventional. Ms. Johnson inspired Emily to think outside the box and to approach problems with creativity and determination. She encouraged her to pursue her passions and to never give up on her dreams. Emily felt like she had found a mentor and a friend in Ms. Johnson. As the year progressed, Emily realized that Ms. Johnson had a profound impact on her life. She taught her that learning could be fun, and that passion and persistence were the keys to success. Emily knew that she would never forget her unconventional teacher and the lessons she had taught her.